All right, this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts brought to you by Sovereign Extracts. You can check them out for some great CBD oils, THC, CBD, as well as hybrid cartridges. Also, USG Canada, you can check them out for great apparel for boxers, MMA fighters, and for fans alike. We've got a big card going. It is happening on December the 12th, HRMMA 117, and we've got a welterweight fight between Brandon Bell and Tom Theocharis. And I'm talking to Tom on today's show. How's your day going so far there, Tom?
Uh, Honestly, it could be better. The fight actually got rescheduled for February, so I just found out.
Oh, did you just find this out today, or when was the timeline for that?
Yeah, basically today. So basically, what was going on was I was kind of, you know, searching keeping up to date with the COVID of what was going on in the States and in Kentucky where the fight was supposed to happen. And they actually, things were just going, south essentially. And basically their governor just threw out a bunch of restrictions and they tried to save the card. But unfortunately the athletic commission did not approve. They're trying to do a pay-per-view event only. That didn't work out. And so, the whole kind of card is scrapped, and our fight is hopefully moving to February 27th. So, pretty shitty.
Yeah, that must be an unfortunate situation because you'd mentioned, like, on social media, you were excited about headlining that first pay-per-view event. Like,
to be quite frank with you, I'm not surprised. This is roughly my 10th fight this year that has kind of fallen through. It sucks. Like I've trained this whole year, basically thinking I'm fighting in January 1st. I remember, we had a big training session with like Aaron Jeffrey, Mike Malott was there, a bunch of guys were at the watered down BJJ gym. There's a bunch of black belts, and we did maybe like 10-minute rounds of just pure grappling. And then I remember, driving home after that session, I'm like, this year is going to be sick. We started off with that good of a session the very first day of the year. At that point, I had a fight scheduled for February and March. Those obviously fell through. Then April, that one fell through. And then May fell through. And then let's look at August. That one fell through. September fell through. It's just been a year of like, all right, I think I'm fighting, and then I'm not. So I've just essentially been in training camp this whole year, and my body's just pretty beat up at this point.
yeah, because I was gonna ask about the physical end of that, because it seems like you're obviously understandably disappointed, but it seems like the body probably a lot of start and stop with the body. Like it's probably difficult to regulate things and get the recuperation you need, because like you said, you're always in this start and stop fight camp kind of motion.
Yeah, 100%. Like usually during fight camp, I only take Sundays off, and like even some Sundays I do some grappling work or something just to keep the body going. And today I had actually planned on having a break, like an off day for today, and then have a hard spar tomorrow because we always spar hard on Saturdays, and then have my routine Sunday off just because my body's just so beat up, just from training all year round, and doing that sort of stuff. It just obviously takes a physical toll, and a mental toll as well. Like I've just thought I've been, I legit thought this was going to be my breakout year. This fight specifically, against a Bellator vet, and I believe he signed with like M1 Global. I don't know, but he's, he was kind of like a journeyman with like 9 wins, and I thought this was just a perfect matchup because he's kind of like a shorter guy, and I like to use my reach, and I like to keep people on the end of my strikes, and just the fact that we're going to be the main event down in Kentucky, like it was just like all the stars seemed to align. We're going to align, I suppose I should say, but obviously they didn't, and I mean, it doesn't like it just basically delays my career to be honest with you, and it's kind of annoying. So
Yeah, fair enough, but it sounded like you were getting some, studying going on your opponent, Brandon Bell. Like on, I guess, like more of a skill set kind of level beyond the fact that he's that, M1 and Bellator kind of veteran. Like what on a skill set level were you checking out, like studying tape of his if you were doing tape study pretty diligently?
To be quite frank with you, like skill set wise, it like stand up, it was not there. Like I knew we both like I for sure know that he was going to go to try to take me down. And I mean, if we fight in February, I know that he's going to try to take me down. If he doesn't believe that going into the fight, I know that once we get into the fight and he's not going to be able to touch me, then he's going to for sure kind of reach for those takedowns. He's a super tough dude. Like I've seen him get dropped and then come back, look for that takedown, and then even finish his opponent. Like, I mean, he would be a tough guy to put away. I would just have to come in shape and prepared. And skill set wise, I think I'm better everywhere. To be honest with you, like, I, I've improved so much over the last year. Like this year, just been crazy. Like I moved from London, Ontario, to Toronto, just because I was kind of training a lot with the Parabellum guys, and it just came to the point where I was just driving so often, and like it was just taking a toll on me, just that drive. And I said, you know what, like I have better training partners in Toronto, in the Toronto area, so I might as well just move there. And so I got a coaching job at Xtreme Couture, and everything was working out well, and I was loving it. But yeah, back to kind of what I saw on footage with this guy. Like stand up, I would kill him. And obviously he would try to look to take me to the ground, but I don't think he'd be able to get me to the mat, to be honest with you. I've got really good takedown defense, and I'm, comfortable everywhere, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of interesting though that you said if this fight ends up happening in February. Has the promotion confirmed one way or the other if they're just looking to maneuver this fight to the February card? Have they kind of said, "Hey, we're looking to get you on the February card"? Like what has the promotion relayed to you in that regard?
So I had messaged the promoter just because I kind of was keeping up with the Kentucky news, like I kind of stated earlier in the interview. And the governor actually came out on Monday and said, hey, listen, if cases don't drop by Wednesday, then we're adding these restrictions. And so Wednesday hit, and he added these crazy restrictions that are like even more so stricter than Ontario. Like they don't even have schools open right now. They don't have bars and restaurants, indoor dining, like all these different restrictions, and like weddings are like 25 people max. And so I messaged the promoter right away. I go, hey man, like what's going on with this card? And he kind of said, you know what, we'll have an answer for you tomorrow. And tomorrow was yesterday. And so basically he said, yeah, the athletic commission won't let the card happen. And so we have a card February 27th. We'll move it to that date. We'll just have to kind of see what Brandon Bell says. And so kind of just waiting on him. I'm ready to sign a contract, and ready. Like I'm ready for February. I'm ready for December. I'm ready for January. So
Yeah, absolutely. But you were touching on some like great facilities you've been training at and the last number of months and stuff like that, like Xtreme Couture and working with guys like Aaron Jeffrey and some of the Parabellum guys. Like, what's the training dynamic like now? It seems like different people have their, different like training partners they work with, and they're kind of personalizing their camps and certain workarounds with like some of the pandemic kind of elements and stuff like that. Like, who are you working with now predominantly? Like, maybe some of the Niagara top team guys, like Toronto area guys, or
I'm training a lot with Coach Chris Prickett. He runs like the best practices there are. I would say, like, honestly, maybe even the country. Like his practices are so difficult, and the room is just incredible. Like they're not just MMA fighters in there. There's obviously Brock wrestlers, and Brock wrestlers are crazy talented. They're amazing. They push you hard. So like I would say, as far as MMA wise, my most guys I train with would be like Aaron Jeffrey, Elias Theodoro, Kyron Cameron, Bobby Poulter, like those guys. Gord Cunningham, whenever I'm in London, he's also really good amateur MMA fighters, like 205, 185. So like just the bodies I'm getting every single day are incredible. I actually told TJ Laramie he was actually supposed to come down and corner me for my fight in December, and I was telling him he should come by and come to Niagara Top Team, and he actually came last week and he loved it, and so I think he'll be coming down more often and getting some work, and just because Coach Chris Prickett puts on some phenomenal practices.
Yeah, I'd seen some of those pictures of TJ working with those group of guys, and that's cool to see. I actually first met TJ in person when he was actually cornering you for that fight you had in Grand Prairie a couple of years back.
Oh, yeah, he was. He came and cornered me there. So him and I have been buddies for quite a while now, because what happened was Sam Stout, he was getting ready for his fights with Reno, and so I'd go down to Windsor with Sam to train with Reno and those guys, and so ever since then, it might have been like 5-6 years ago, so like ever since then, TJ and I have just always stayed in touch and kept buddies, and we fought on the same card a few times and that sort of stuff. So
yeah, it's a cool dynamic to see, and that was a great performance against Jordan Roberts there. Like, really just...
that.
Yeah, no, great show always with the excessive force shows, and yeah, you just really didn't let that guy off the hook when you saw he was damaged there. But you mentioned the London MMA connections, and it's cool that you still maintain that, and like when you're out there, you still end up training and stuff like that. Like I saw a while back, you said your sensei was Chris Horodesky there, so it's cool that you like still stay tied to that community and such a rich history of MMA in the London area.
Yeah, Chris and I still talk like almost like we talk weekly. Malcolm Gordon and I, Sam Stout, we're all like just like a crew of like really good buddies, and it's not just about fighting. Like we're family, and anytime I'm in London, the door's always open for myself to come in and train with those guys. And I was there last week, and Sam kind of ran us through like some drilling, and I did some sparring with Gord, and I just love being back at that gym, to be honest with you. It's where I grew up, as a fighter, and I'll always stay tied with that team. So
yeah, it's cool you have that connection where it's like you're, like you said, not just getting in the high level mixed martial arts work, but it's like there's a family dynamic and you guys are friendly. I imagine that like lends itself in the room, and just like the overall progress and stuff, just the confluence of those two things.
Exactly.
No, and I'm kind of wondering about the, I guess, tunes that are generally jammed when you're training. Like I'd seen, I think circa May, there was a 50 Cent and Eminem reference there, Patiently Waiting. Is that kind of the general stuff you're jamming to?
Yeah, I like that. That's like my main walkout song, Patiently Waiting by 50 Cent. I like that one. For as far as training goes, I like being the DJ on the team at Niagara Top Team. I like playing in like kind of club, like dance music, that sort of stuff. I also like to play hardcore rap. I like the old school rap music a lot though, like 50 Cent, Eminem, that sort of stuff. So I've got a little variety in me, and I definitely like to take over the DJ booth during practices.
No, that's cool, because some guys are kind of like whatever about the aux cord, and it's like, whoever wants to put on whatever.
Aux cord guy, I'm that guy, so.
I'm an aux cord guy too, man, so I get it. It's all good.
Yeah. You like the 50 Cent Patiently Waiting reference though, eh?
Oh yeah, I dug that. That's like a song me and my brother will like, sneakily put on, and we'll kind of like look at the other guy like, yeah, you know what time it is kind of thing. And so it's a banger.
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
Yeah, it's great shit, man, for sure. But you've been really good with your time, man, and I'm just kind of trying to be mindful of the schedule for you there. Is there anything you'd like to sort of add, though, as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here, Tom?
No, just thanks for the interview. I appreciate it, and thanks to all my training partners, Niagara Top Team, Xtreme Couture, Adrenaline Training Center. Just obviously it's been a tough year, but that's what fighting is, man. Like fighting's it's a grind. I was just thinking today, like, man, it's not easy, and like it's hard work. So I mean, just got to keep grinding. And again, thanks for the interview, and thanks to all my training partners, my friends and family for the support. So.
Yeah, it was great talking to you, man. I appreciate you making the time, and hopefully things come to fruition for that February 27th card that you mentioned, and we can get in another interview closer to that fight. So thanks again for the time and insights, man, and just have a good rest of your day too.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, brother, and have a good weekend.